Hello, and welcome to another episode of Brettcast Gaming Talk. I purposefully waited to make this so I can talk about all of the E3 conferences all in one video, which is easier for me because I am a lazy ass person. I know that everyone else has already done their E3 videos, but that's not going to stop me from doing my own. So the first one to talk about is the EA conference. Yep, it was really damn bad. Like, holy cow bad. First, these host people just seem to get more and more terrible. Like, they have this energy that they're supposed to have to get the crowd interested in stuff, but the hosts always go the route of being overly excited, that it seems fake, and they really don't care at all. Now, personally, none of the games they talked about really have much of an interest to me. Like, Anthem looks alright, but I'm gonna save my judgment for when that game actually comes out. And I'm not going to be like everyone else and say I'm worried about it because Battlefront 2 was stuffed with microtransactions, so the game might also be that way, but it's not because they said that the microtransactions are just going to be on cosmetic stuff. So that's good, I guess. But I'll probably wait until the release and when it goes on sale. Then there was a bunch of sports titles that I know have their fan bases, but most people like myself don't give a damn about sports games. I get it, because that's what EA built their whole company on, but sports games hardly ever change from year to year, and they lose their value faster than anything. The worst part of the whole show was having EA announce a goddamn mobile game for your damn phone at E3. Like, what the fuck are you doing, EA? Then they have a demo match of said mobile game, which happens to be Command and Conquer, some kind of RTS game. Now, I've never played a Command and Conquer game. I don't like RTS games, but I know that Command and Conquer was a big PC game, and EA is calling this the Command and Conquer for a new generation. Like, come on, EA. You're actually letting down the entire Command and Conquer fan base by releasing this on the damn mobile platform. There was an indie game title that got a decent amount of time, and it was really the best thing that EA showed. I'm glad whoever was behind it got their chance to make something they've always wanted to and be passionate about it and all that, but I wasn't like blown away by it, and I don't care about indie games. That's all I'm going to say about EA, because everyone else has torn them apart already. So then we go to Microsoft. They opened really strong with a cinematic for Halo Infinite. People seem to be confused as to why they're calling it Infinite, and I'm not going to pretend like I know why. So I guess you will all have to wait until the game comes out before you know the answer to that. I think it has to do with Call of Duty having Infinite Warfare, which was a piss poor game, and so maybe people think that Halo using Infinite in its title is going to be like that, but Halo has always been better than Call of Duty. Even Halo 4 and 5, which are not the best Halo games. Then there was a hack and slash game I can't remember the name of, but people in this stream I was watching all kept calling it Dark Souls because it's, shares similar aspects in its combat, even though the game was not Dark Souls. Then they have a video about the Xbox Game Pass thing that's supposed to be a subscription service that I could care less about since I don't have an Xbox. And then Todd Howard of Bethesda came out to tell us that Fallout 4 will be on the Xbox Game Pass, and again, I don't care. One thing that looked pretty interesting to me was Metro Exodus. I have not played any of the Metro games, but the gameplay for this one looked really sweet. Maybe when it comes out, if they have one, I'll wait for a sale on a trilogy pack and get all three at once. Then there was a cinematic for Battlefield 5, and it looks okay. I like that they're doing World War II since Battlefield 1 was World War 1, but I know that I will not be playing the game because of the fact that I can't stand using Origin on PC. Cinematic for Forza Horizon 4 was pretty neat, but I don't play racing games, so I don't really care about that. One that I skipped was this new updates for Sea of Thieves. Everyone that I have seen mention this didn't care because the game as of now literally has nothing to do, and this is something that the developers dug themselves into. Had they put more content in the base game, more people would have been playing the game and more people would have been excited for the new DLC. But the game is boring and no one cares about these DLCs. Then Microsoft plugs their new studios that they acquired, Undead, Playground, Ninja Theory, and Compulsion Games. And all this had people really excited, but in my eyes, like, they're just game studios. Unless they pump out, amazing games, I don't really care about what studios Microsoft has bought out recently. And of course, we couldn't go a whole E3 conference without mentioning that PUBG still exists and that there are still people who seem to care about this game. And on top of that, they show another cinematic and not actual gameplay. Then we got a gameplay trailer of a JRPG remake called Tales of Vesperia. It didn't look that great, and it looked like every other JRPG out there today, but that's just my opinion. Then they showed us a cinematic for Tom Clancy's The Division 2. This has become one of my issues with Ubisoft right now that I will not get fully into, is that they still throw the Tom Clancy name on a lot of their titles today. And he made books for Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell, and Rainbow Six, so I was fine with those, but Division was not something he created. I think they should just take his name off of it, but I feel like Ubisoft thinks that his name is what's selling copies of these games, but whatever. I'm not getting into that right now. So we got another thing about the Xbox Game Pass, and they are really pushing this whole thing on people who have Xboxes, and that's fine, but like I said, I don't care about it. They also revealed something called Fast Start, which I have no idea what this does, but I guess your games will start twice as fast because reasons. Microsoft and EA are the ones that are really pushing this whole games as a service thing, and that's fine for some people, but I don't want to rent games. I want to buy them, own them, and play them whenever I want and for however I want, however long I want. So I'm glad that PC isn't getting any of this. Then they showed a cinematic trailer for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The trailer looked cool, but they needed to show some gameplay to really sell this to me. Then we got another cinematic for what I am assuming is a skateboarding game that's called Session. I thought the whole skateboarding video game genre died off, but I guess they're trying to bring it back for some reason. Another big one here is Devil May Cry 5. I have not played any of these games, so I'm not super thrilled, but I know these games have a large following, so I will just move on. Following that was a cinematic gameplay trailer for the indie game called Tunic, which didn't look half bad, and depending on how well it does upon release, I may just get that one, also depending on how much they want for it too. After that, we got a trailer for a game called Jump Force that looks interesting. It had characters from Dragon Ball Z, Fairy Tail, Death Note, and One Piece, to name a few, and like I said, it looks pretty interesting. The next one looked pretty cool, and that is Dying Light 2. Now, I have not played the first one, but I heard it's really good. My problem is that several E3s ago, the very studio that makes Dying Light, the same studio that makes Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide, they announced not only Dead Island 2, but an entirely new game that was called something like Hellblade or whatever, but it looked pretty cool. And we haven't heard from any of that stuff for a while, so who knows where those are at. So then Microsoft goes downhill a lot here by announcing a Gears of War mobile game with those damned pop figures called Gears Pop, and then a PC RTS game called Gears Tactics that's supposed to be for PC. He even says something about that the game being the best experience for Gears of War on PC, even though I'm sure that many PC gamers would love to play the regular Gears of War games on PC, but whatever. Then they actually corrected their misleadings by announcing Gears of War 5. I've played the first couple games a few years ago when I had a 360, they were fun and I had a good time. So it's nice to see the series moving forward in a relatively good standing. Then they show a game that looked really cool called Cyberpunk 2077. I definitely like how this looks. I will be keeping a close eye on this one as it highly interests me. That's all for what Microsoft has for us, and I must say it was a pretty good one since it only had a few things I didn't really care about. Next, we will tackle Bethesda. So they start with a quick montage of what ends up being everything they will show us here, and that's kind of lame, but whatever. Their host goes on to pat the company on the back and lists all their amazing achievements they've made so far. So then they start with Rage 2, but not in the way you think. Fucking Andrew WK comes on stage in a rock band I don't know the name of, plays some crazy awesome and funny song. I just cracked up seeing Andrew WK singing and playing the keyboard. It was just awesome and a real good start for Bethesda. Now, I don't know why they wanted to bring back the Rage franchise, as I played the first one, and I don't have any memories of it being very good, but it wasn't terrible. But Bethesda, and even like EA and Microsoft didn't do this, which is show actual gameplay to accompany their trailer. And holy cow, this game looks amazing. I mean, this is what they needed to sell the idea of this game, and it does the job because I really want to play this game. Then we calm down a bit and we talk about the Elder Scrolls Legends, that card game for mobile that probably no one cares about, and I know that I, for one, don't care about it at all. I don't know what it is with these companies showing off mobile games at E3, but I'm not a fan of it. I'm not going to play a card game on my phone just because it's Elder Scrolls. I'd rather stick to playing Magic the Gathering. So then we go to the second thing I don't care about, which is some update to the Elder Scrolls Online. Again, this game has seen major decline in its player base since it went from pay to play to free to play. They seem to think that 11 million players is a lot, but compared to other MMO games, it's really not. If you actually look at a list of the healthiest MMOs at the end of 2017, the top one is still World of Warcraft, followed by Final Fantasy XIV, and then number 3 is Elder Scrolls Online. Now, when actually looking at the data, ESO does have a higher player count than World of Warcraft as of now, but it's right up there with Final Fantasy XIV with about 11 million players. I have to move on before I get buried in all these player count statistics. So then they show a trailer for the next installment in the long-running first-person shooter franchise, and that is Doom Eternal. They didn't show any gameplay since they're saving that for their own show, QuakeCon, to show the gameplay, which is fine, I guess. Then we get talked to about Quake Champions, only to reveal that they're planning more Quake esports competitions, but then says that people at E3 can play a trial of Quake Champions, which is in early access, for a whole week. I gotta say, that's actually pretty cool of them to do. They end talking about Quake Champions by showing a new trailer for the game, and I must say, I think they're trying to take a swipe at those hero-type multiplayer games like Overwatch and League of Legends. Then they talk about and show a bunch of new stuff for Prey, including a really big DLC pack, a new mode, and that it'll be in VR. I don't play Prey, so I don't really care about it. Then we get to see Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is taking place in the 1980s, but the biggest deal is that the game has actual co-op in it. I must say, that's really great, and the trailer was really cool, but the gameplay, guys, come on, gameplay. Apparently they're also making some kind of Wolfenstein VR thing as well, but I still don't care about VR since, you can't afford it. But it's nice to see Bethesda that wants to make games for people who can afford the hardware to run VR. Then we come to the mainstay of this, and that is Fallout 76. But before that, they actually make fun of themselves by showing a video about Skyrim getting released on Amazon Echo, Etch-a-Sketch, Samsung Smart Fridge. Boy, that was really funny. I love how Bethesda embraces the jokes thrown at them, and it makes people happy to see that this company is able to take a joke. Now, they don't show the trailer for Fallout 76, but they do show gameplay. Well, they did show a trailer for it, but not only that, they gameplay. It actually looks pretty good too. The world looks amazing. The new creatures look really good. It can be played single player and multiplayer as well. But then they show even more gameplay, and man, I really want to play this game. I hope when they say you can play it single player, you don't have to be online because my internet can't handle that. But as of now, the game graphically looks about the same as Fallout 4, but we've got a long way to go before this game comes out, so I have a good feeling the graphics will improve. I really hope they don't make the game in the same engine as Fallout 4 and Skyrim because it will not look as good as it should be. They talk about a special edition of Fallout 76 called Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. Comes with a map that glows in the fucking dark. Has some figurines and a replica of the T-51 Power Armor helmet. God only knows how fucking expensive this edition will be, but hey, it's an option, and options are good. Then they announced that their other mobile game, Fallout Shelter, is coming out on PS4 and Nintendo Switch, and I don't care because it's a mobile game. This also spreads to the next thing they show off, which is Elder Scrolls Blades. Blades is a full-fledged first-person Elder Scrolls experience on mobile, and they use an iPhone 10 to show off the gameplay, and he goes on to say how great it is on the iPhone 10, which I rolled my eyes because Samsung all the way in my opinion. But then he says that Blades is going to be released on everything they can put it on, which includes PC, and it's all free. So when it's on Steam for free, I will look into it. What's funny is that he says it's free, but then you can pre-order it on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, which makes no sense if it is free. The next thing really caught my interest. They show a very interesting and not specific trailer for a game called Starfield. They don't show any gameplay, and I don't really know what it is besides a single-player experience, and I assume it's a sci-fi game. The last thing is a literal 30-second tease for The Elder Scrolls 6. It shows nothing at all besides some landscape and the game's logo. And that's it for Bethesda. I think this has to be the best one so far, better than Microsoft by a little bit. Then I moved to see what Square Enix has going on. They start by showing a trailer and gameplay for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was also shown at Microsoft's, but this is the first gameplay we are seeing of it. I'm not impressed. I didn't play the last Tomb Raider game myself, but I've watched the videos of it, and this one doesn't seem to be any different. But we'll have to wait until the game releases. Then we get what looks like an expansion for Final Fantasy XIV called Stormblood. I actually mentioned this game earlier when I was talking about Elder Scrolls Online. With that, they showed a Final Fantasy XIV X Monster Hunter World. I think that means it's like some kind of crossover, but I have no idea at all. Then we get a new addition in the Life is Strange universe, which I have not gotten involved in yet, called The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. It looks mildly interesting, but I have not played any of Life is Strange. Maybe I'll get them when they're on sale sometime. Then they show a trailer for Dragon Quest XI, which is another franchise I have not played I don't really care about. After that, we get a trailer for something that does look interesting, and that's Babylon's Fall. Not sure what it is, but it looks pretty cool from the trailer. Although I'd be more into it if they had shown gameplay. They show a gameplay trailer for Octopath Traveler, and I honestly could care less about that one, although I know many people that own Switches will be flipping out over this. Then we get Just Cause 4, and I don't know why we needed another one of these games. I played Just Cause 3, and it was alright. It wasn't fantastic. but Just Cause 4 doesn't look too bad. I won't be picking this one up though. Then we get a real quick trailer for a game called The Quiet Man. Doesn't tell us anything, but that there's more to come in August. Then we have what most people here are waiting to see, and that is Kingdom Hearts 3. I have not played any of these games. I'm sure that they are fun, and I must say that Kingdom Hearts 3 looks really good. I like all the worlds that they're putting into the game, like Frozen and Toy Story and Pirates of the Caribbean, to name a few. This game looks like it'll live up to the expectations of the people who have been waiting a long time for it to come out, but nothing will be decided till it comes out. And that's all for Square Enix. It's not much, but most of these games, save for maybe one or two, are multi-system releases. Now we move on to Ubisoft. They start with a very strange, pointless, and boring song and dance that was dumb. And Bethesda's opening with that band was much better in my opinion. But it all leads up to a reveal of Just Dance 2019. And I'm like, why? Do people even play Just Dance anymore? I've never seen anyone play those games or heard anyone talk about them. Anyway, moving on to the next game that they showed a really long cinematic for, and that's Beyond Good and Evil 2. This one falls under, I have not played the first one, but this looks interesting enough that I may have to pick up the first one when it's on sale. Then we had Trials Rising, and I'm sorry, but I don't care about this. We had a trailer for Tom Clancy's The Division 2, and the announcement of raids and 3 DLC packs that will be free, and that's really generous of Ubisoft to do, and hopefully the game isn't crap. Then there was a kind of neat musical number for the showing of Donkey Kong DLC that's coming to Mario plus Rabbids, and is another game I don't care about. The next one did catch my attention, and that is Skull and Bones. It looks like another pirate game that is already miles better than Sea of Thieves in its current state. The gameplay was really long and very detailed, and I like that. As this game has my interest, I will be keeping an eye on this one. So then they had Elijah Wood and another guy come out and announce Transference, which looks really dumb. Then we got to see Starlink, and it looks okay, but not something I'm really excited for. Plus, they have Star Fox in the game, but it's only for people who get the game on the Switch, which is dumb, but they did it with Skyrim getting Link's clothes and the Master Sword for the Switch version, and I guess the Switch needs any edge it can get over the other consoles for more people to buy it. Then we got a DLC for the game called For Honor, and the DLC was called Marching Fire, but not only that, they're adding a mode called Breach Mode, which is Castle Siege, but I think calling it Breach Mode sounds too modern. I would have just called it Siege Mode or something like that, but whatever. It looked alright, but I thought that no one played For Honor anymore. Maybe this is their attempt to get players back. Lastly, and the biggest thing that Ubisoft had was a trailer and very extensive gameplay for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've not played an AC game since Assassin's Creed 2 because the ones after that all sucked. So I gave up on the Assassin's Creed games. I still have no intention of going back to them anytime soon. So I don't care about this. But that ends the Ubisoft show. And I was not that impressed, nor was I that excited for many of the games they are releasing. We now come to see what Sony has to offer. So, like Bethesda and Ubisoft, Sony opened with a person playing some music on stage, and it was kind of nice and was way better than the one Ubisoft did. Sony opens with their showing of a cinematic and gameplay for The Last of Us Part 2, and it was a very strong opening for Sony. The game looks damn amazing. The graphics are beautiful. The combat looks amazing. And this game just is amazing looking, like I already said. I'll not be able to play it because I don't have a PS4 and I don't intend on getting one. Then we have a man who's dressed in an outfit that makes him look like an ancient Japanese person and he plays an old Japanese wind instrument that I don't know the name of. That leads us into the next game they showed a lot of gameplay for, and that is Ghosts of Tsushima. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The game looks just amazing, and I want it. There's so much that I love about the gameplay that makes me want to play it, and I hope it's not just a PS4 exclusive. Then we got a gameplay trailer for a game called Control. Not sure what it's about or really even what happened in the trailer, so I don't really know what to think about it right now. Then we got a trailer for a remake of Resident Evil 2. It looks alright, even though I've not played any of the Resident Evil games, but I do enjoy watching the movies, even though they are not related in any way at all. I've heard mixed things about the Resident Evil games up to 6, that they never really grabbed my attention, so at this point I probably will not be getting Resident Evil 2. Then we got a weird but kind of funny trailer for the game Trover Saves the Universe, which is made with the co-creator of Rick and Morty, and you can tell because the voice actors are the same ones from the show. I have no interest in this game at all. Then they showed another gameplay section of Kingdom Hearts 3, this one focusing on the Pirates of the Caribbean world, and it looks pretty cool to me. Then we got a gameplay for Death Stranding. You know, the more I see this game, the more I still have no idea what it's about. Everyone is excited for the game, and I think it's because of Norman Reedus, but I don't really understand what it's about. So I don't know, if I should or shouldn't like it, or if I am or am not excited for it. There is an element of mysticism that surrounds this game, and that's fine. And I will have to wait until the game comes out to know what it's about. Then we got a trailer for the game Nioh 2. I don't know how to say it. Nioh 2. The trailer didn't really show anything because why would it? Why would you show anything that people who don't know what these games are about? I want to know what it's about, but I don't know. Next, we got some gameplay for a game that I do have an interest in, and that's the new Spider-Man game. The game looks amazing. The combat looks fluid. Spider-Man's outfit is cool. The seamless transition from walking on the ground to up walls was cool. And all around, it's just cool. And I wish this was not a PS4 exclusive, but I'm going to bet it is. But that's the end of Sony's showing, and I think it was very good. Finally, we get to see what Nintendo has. Now, this will probably be shorter than most because it's going to be all about Switch games. I don't have a Switch. I have a 3DS, and I know that they're not showing anything for the 3DS. Anyway, let's get to the games. So Nintendo opens with a gameplay trailer for Damian. I don't know how they want to say it. I'm going to say it how I want to. Daemon X Machina. Well, I've never heard of this, but I really want to play this game. It's got mecha, and I love mecha, and it reminded me a lot of Gundam, and the trailer had some super cool heavy metal music playing in the background, and I want this game. Guess I gotta get a Switch now. Then Reggie came on to talk to us and show us Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. As much as people hate these because it shares with Pokemon Go, I would definitely get these if I had a Switch. I think they look fun. Then we got a gameplay trailer for Super Mario Party. It looks pretty fun as well, but I kind of thought people lost interest in Mario Party after that top 100 one, whatever the last one came out was, but I guess not. Next thing we got was a trailer for Fire Emblem Three Houses, if I'm remembering correctly. And I don't care at all about Fire Emblem, but I know there are people out there that do, so there you go. Then the one that everyone was expecting, and I, along with many, don't care about, is that Fortnite's coming to Switch for free. Moving on. Then Reggie came back to talk to us and show us Overcooked 2, Killer Queen Black, and Hollow Knight. 3 more indie games that I couldn't care less about, but I do agree that it's good to support indie developers on any system. Then we got a montage showing that Starlink, Arena of Valor, Minecraft, because we can't have a system that doesn't have Minecraft on it, Sushi Striker, Way of the Sushido, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Donkey Kong Adventure, Pixark, Just Dance 2019, Dragon Ball Z Fighter, not sure which one, Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Ninjala, FIFA 19, Ark Survival Evolved, Wasteland 2, Paladins Champions of the Realm, Fallout Shelter, Dark Souls Remastered, SNK Heroiness, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, Wolfenstein 2, Mega Man 11, and Mario Tennis Aces are all coming to the Switch if they are not on there already, because some of those games are already on the Switch, available for the Switch. Then the last thing that they do, which is the thing that everyone has been waiting for, is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's ultimate because it has every fighter from every Smash game ever in this game. I never had any interest in Smash, so it's not that big of a deal to me. I know plenty of people who are going bonkers over this game. They went over the characters, different outfits, final moves. I kind of got bored of it pretty quickly. They really spent way too much time talking about Smash that they could have taken the time to talk more about any of those games that they stuffed into that montage they had earlier. After that, they demoed Smash and the Pokemon Let's Go games, and that was pretty much it for Nintendo. It was not a bad show. It was pretty good, actually. My only complaint is that they spent way too much time on Smash and didn't really give much time to anything else. Quick mention, Devolver's show again was really funny. I don't know if the two games that they actually showed are real or not. I was actually hoping for the next Serious Sam game. I think that's Devolver. I don't really remember. But that's all for this year's E3. I have to mention, I gotta say that it was not the best E3 I've seen. The major problems with this year's E3 is that there was too much cinematic trailers and not enough of actual gameplay. Some of the hosts were terrible. They showed off a lot of mobile games, and a lot of games were announced for next year and not this year. I think that Bethesda and Sony had the best shows, while EA clearly had the worst show. I don't know if all these companies just don't understand that to get people excited for a game, you have to show gameplay of the game. I don't care if a trailer comes before or after the gameplay, but you have to show the gameplay regardless. So here's what I actually had interest in from all of it. Jump Force, Dying Light 2, Ghosts of Tsushima, Spider-Man, Damien Ex Machina, and Skull and Bone. So, I've been talking for way too long. So, that's all I have to say about E3. So, if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.